How old were you when you were shot down?
When I was shot down, sir, I was 26. I was an A4 pilot off the USS Constellation, and as Chuck indicated, we were part of it was part of the Tonkin Gulf incident. I was lucky. Our group, the ships, there were 2 ships, and they hit targets all up and down the coast. We had never gone into North Vietnam before. But at that time, President Johnson said, go. So we did, and the groups hit targets, oil depots, bases, what have you. We were fortunate. We hit the northernmost target. As I got the call to come down to the ready room and get up to the Air Intelligence Bases and start briefing, planning. Now bear in mind that, you sort of said, oh God, because we had been sitting on Yankee Station for months, and up until then we were flying escort missions over that little 17th parallel into Laos to do escorting of photo planes up and down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the Plain de Jars, and back up in there. 3 out of 4 times that everything was scrubbed as you get into the plane ready to go, and they scrubbed it. So I said, here. But that morning, as we're planning our mission, was a little bit different. The air group commander walked in as we're planning, and he said, it's different this time. He said, this is a go. He said, President Johnson just got on the air and announced that we were striking targets in North Vietnam. This was 11 o'clock a.m. our time. It was 11 p.m. in Washington. The planes from the other ship had already launched. We didn't launch until 1400, 2 p.m. So that was 3 hours later that we launched. So by the time we got there, it was a 2-hour flight to the target. 4 p.m. their time, they'd had 5 hours notice. Of course, targets were being hit down below, which was interesting. Another interesting thing that I learned years later is that as we were briefing this mission, they had high altitude air reconnaissance photos of the target area. And we used that to do our planning as we go in. And our targets were the torpedo boats. It was a torpedo boat base, Vietnamese. Well, I learned years later that those air photos were over a year old. And I learned years later that we had sent up the day before another to get photos. But the photos didn't come back to the ship, they went to Washington. So, guess what happened the day after it got shot down? The photos arrived at the ship. And they showed all this AAA all over the place. And so, I discovered the AAA. Boom, just black wall of stuff. But that's what happened. And so, I was hit by AAA. And of course, in my little A4, which has a little old pilot, me, and one single little old engine, and that was it. And they hit the engine, and that was it. So you can't go anywhere. So I was able to get out and survive the ejection at low altitude. My chute popped open, and just before I hit the water, and I found myself bobbing in the famous Bay of Ho Long, which is a scenic wonder of the world. So I tell people today I was one of the first visitors. Now they take cruises to take through that area and what have you. But that was a very interesting. How did I get onto that, by the way? I don't guess how, Chuck.
Would you mentioned in several of your presentations and in the book that being a Mexican American and Fred Cherry being a Black American, the two of you got special treatment. They were trying to get you to claim, the treatment that minorities were receiving in the United States, and offered you to come home early, right? If you signed papers to that extent?
Right. When I was by myself for 18 months totally. But I was by myself for totally 6 months before the next guy was shot down in February of 1965, which is Bob Shoemaker, who lives over here in Fairfax Station now. He's a dear friend of ours. But that very first Christmas in '64, I was taken downtown to meet a Coke delegation of visitors to Vietnam. And he was a fellow who was living in Cuba, an American living in Cuba. And he had a radio station called The Voice of Free America out of Cuba, something like that. Anyway, so, and he basically said, and then the guard said, if you want to go home, you know, you got to write a letter to Ho Chi Minh and tell him that you'd like to go home. I said, okay.
Give me the pen.
And so they said, well, you know, and this fellow was sort of also pleading this case. And looking back, what they wanted to do was get a propaganda thing. You know, this guy is released. By that time, I'd been interrogated for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And you know, I mean, I'm just a poor little guy. I was a Lieutenant J.G., you know. I was lower than anything. We have some of the guys even say, you know, Lieutenant JGs are ensigns. They're even lower than Marines, first lieutenants, something like that. You know, that's this rivalry they have. Anyway, so they said, yes, you don't know anything. You don't have any big secrets, etc. Because I had convinced them that my job aboard ship was, I was in charge of the popcorn machine. You know how many weeks of interrogation, and must have been 1,000 pages of notes they have on popcorn machine and all that. So they finally, anyway, so here it is, and Christmas is coming. They got this delegation, and he says, they would like to release you, but you have to ask for it. I says, all right, well, tell them I'll go home with you. No. He said, no. He says, you got to do something for yourself. I figured, oh, okay, here it comes. What is it? You have to write to the president to tell him how well you've been treated, and you have to write and tell him about the heroic cause of the Vietnamese people against the imperialistic, capitalistic policies of President Johnson, on and on. They went. I said, I'm not going to do that. Well, if you don't do it, I feel sorry for you. You'll be here forever. Well, let's face it. We're Americans. We're military men. We don't just give them stuff like that. First of all, it's not true. And second, I didn't know anything about what their fight for freedom and independence was against the neo-capitalistic so forth and so forth. And so I said, well, so I sat there. I said, a few weeks later I said, maybe I should. Anyway, that went. That was the first time I was offered early release if I had given them something. But I really don't know how much they would have wanted. The second time came years later when they were getting delegations close into the war, and I figured, what the heck, it's over. They said, would you like to go home if your sister comes with a delegation? And I said, no, forget it. No, and McCain had the same offer at that time, and some of the others. But yeah, they would pick me out at times. I was like a subject for their interrogating people because I was a Mexican American. I was a minority, and minorities are treated very badly in the country, along with blacks. So every time they had a new program, I was one of the first ones. In fact, the Cubans, when the Cubans first came to the camps to run a part of camp, I was the first one they interviewed, quote, interviewed. And after a while, they said, no, you're not cooperating here. You should be cooperating. You should go back and think about it. They didn't put me in their program primarily because I had received a lot of attention in the media. And this was in 1966 when the Cubans came in. So they brought people into their program, under their control, and they were pretty rough, and they killed guys. So, they, you know, to me, they just let me go be one of the other guys in the other part of the camp. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You know, you have to understand, sir,
Take a couple more.
Go ahead.
Dr. Gibb?
Jane Fonda.
Who? You know, sometimes it's not even worth your breath to talk about certain trash. Some of the guys, I wasn't, some of the guys were forced to go see her delegation. One fellow was hung by his broken arms. I don't know, there's some of the others, and sometimes these stories get exaggerated as a, you know, it's been how many years. But, you know, the ones that did go, most of them were brand newly shut down, didn't know what was going on. And they did try to pass information to the group, but the group turned all that over to the Vietnamese, so that the guys were punished for that, trying to give information out. You know, she was a stupid person that did stupid things. And